Welcome to the Unlock'd Podcast with Kev&Kev in the morning.
The Unlock'd Podcast with Kev&Kev in the morning. Come on now, we gonna take you on.
Hey, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever time of day it is for you. This is the Unlock'd Kev&Kev podcast. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode. Kev, what do we got today?
We got a special guest, Kev. We got one of our guys who's gone through Able, who's graduated, still doing well. We got Mr. Clint Hammond with us, and so we're excited to have him this morning, going to share his story.
That's right. As soon as you said Clint Hammond, I was waiting like on the studio audience to start cheering.
I almost thought, this is Clint. Hallelujah. All these people with us now.
That's right. Yeah.
But we're glad to have Clint here. And before we get started, just honestly, not because the camera's on, it's just we're very proud of you. Very, very proud of you. And I'm excited for people to hear your story because I believe it's going to resonate with somebody out there that's in the same boat. And so first off, just tell us a little bit about yourself, Clint. Maybe what brought you to Able.
I grew up in Phoenix City, Smith Station in this area. Mom and Dad got a divorce when I was 4, 5, 6. Was molested not long after that. More than a couple times, but by 2 different babysitters it was women, but then they had sons that were older. Didn't tell anybody that, didn't talk about that until I was up until about 18 or 19. I told a girlfriend one night when I was drinking, and she laughed at me and said I wanted attention, so I stuffed it back down. I believe that was the reason that I searched for some kind of I don't know if that's really the truth. I really don't know why I did drugs and started doing drugs like I did. I don't know if it was because I have an addictive personality or if it was because of that. I really don't know, you know what I'm saying? But
that kind of started off. I mean, that definitely is
married,
traumatic.
Got married, was married for 16 years. I went to the Haven in Dothan for 28 days. I knew that 28 days was enough. God had set me free. Started going to church I went to NA for 2 or 3 years. And then I stumbled upon Donnie Clark's Church of Dareth and was thriving really good. He was feeding me spiritually. I was just doing really good. I started working for myself. I was a subcontractor doing tile. Mine and my dad's relationship my real dad had kind of gotten better. Had a kid. My ex-wife had 2 kids before we got married. One of the boys called me dad. I raised them. I always told people, me and Kevin's talked about this, I always told people that I relapsed after 10 years because I lost my best friend to cancer and I lost my dad. I lost my dad first and I lost my best friend, but the reason I relapsed was because I lost my relationship with God. I quit doing every day praying. I quit ministering to people. I just quit doing what the book told me to do, the Bible. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of didn't think I was self-made, but I forgot that who put me where I was at. You understand what I'm saying? And thought, well, I can do this by myself. When all actuality, we can't do it by ourselves. If we stay humble, through our brokenness is where we have to, people's like, man, you can't be crying always in front of God. Bro, I come to him broken every day because I can't do this on my own. You understand what I'm saying? Really I have to have God in my life. That's what I told my girlfriend's friend. She's been through what I've been through and the muck, and she's asked me, well, what do you do to stay where you're at? And I said, it's a conscious contact with God.
That's right, yeah.
Every day. It's an everyday thing. It's not when I want it or when I don't want it. It's
and when you don't have it in a particular day, there's something missing.
Yeah.
You have to die. Die because if I don't, 6 months from now, I'll be right back in the same spot I was when I come to April.
Yeah, that's what the Apostle Paul says. You have to die daily. It's every day I have to get up and I have to say, okay, not me today. So I remember you getting to Able. I remember meeting you You remember that? You remember meeting me?
I remember that.
And so I mean, you're pretty out of it, and it took you a little bit, but then I just kept hearing about this guy. Man, this guy you're gonna love this guy. He's on fire, and man, you came out of it and really just started grasping everything that was going on. You were jumping all in, but an incident happened with you early, and I still use this to teach guys because I was so new. It was new to me and it was new to you. We sent you to work with a guy, and we try to vet out everybody that our guys go to work with. And while you're on a job site with this guy, he ends up having a bag of dope. Mm-hmm. And I still remember you coming to me and be like, Kev, I want you to know exactly what happened. This is what happened, and man, I had your back because I was so proud of you. Like at that moment, honestly, it was hard for me to believe like that you could just walk away and you did it. And I think that was a catalyst to me for you in your walk, because I think at that moment you realized you did have the power to say no, and you stayed. At that point, there was always a battle. I mean, all the guys battle. Do I want to stay? Do I want to keep doing this or not? You kept grinding, and that's the key. It's not going to be easy, right? It wasn't easy for you to do 12 months. I mean, every day was hard, right?
I gotta be honest, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we know that.
And then I graduate. I kind of miss it. It's kind of like there's a safety net there, being at Able. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
That's what I was for by the whole situation was that, and that's what I was trying to get the point across was that. Not talking bad about Able, not that they're doing anything wrong, but that where I was at, that wasn't about me. We should feel safe, and when that was put before me, it was like nobody in this situation should have had to face what I went through. Nobody.
Agree.
You understand what I'm saying? Like
I don't get mad easy.
He can justify anyway. That's a whole other story.
I don't get mad easy. But I got pretty mad about that because I'm thinking, man, I'm putting you in a spot. And you're supposed to be protected, and
so early too.
Yeah,
but for you to handle it that way.
But that's how the enemy works.
I didn't know how to handle it because I knew that it was either going to make me look like a snitch and a bad guy because of the situation and the setting I'm in. We all come from jail in that background. If you tell you're a snitch, and if you don't say, you know what I'm saying. So, but I think about everything. So I thought about it, and Pat comes on the job, and Pat's like, man, you okay? And I'm just like, yeah. Well, Pat's like, hey, here's my number. Give me a call if you ever want to talk about anything. Right. I didn't feel comfortable talking to Pat because I didn't know him, so I just went back to my room. It was Ian and Mon. I told Mon everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We were going to bed that night like we always did. We were just three of us in the room. There's usually four guys, but we only had three. And the whole time I was there, we only had three. And I told him, I was like, man, I don't know if I want to tell y'all what happened to me today. They was like, well, don't tell me. I was like, man, I got to tell somebody. You understand? I've got to get this. So I told them, and they said, man, that's up to you. And then Ian come back and told me that, he's like, hey, did you talk to Kevin today? I was like, no. He's like, I think you might need to because Kevin said something today. He didn't say nothing about that, but you might need to. So I went and told Joe. That's when Joe was on staff here.
Yeah.
And,
I remember. And you said something powerful right there. I want everybody that if you're watching or picking up on this, I want you to hear. We talk about it all the time, the power of the spoken word. Mm-hmm. And so the fact that you actually, the enemy was trying to get you not to say it. Okay, yeah, don't do that. You're a snitch or whatever. But once you speak it, there's power over that. There's so much power in that. So once you came and actually trusted us in that, I still remember that. And I remember you were a little skeptical, like, were we either going to blame you or be upset with you? And I'm like, no, we had your back. Like, we went to bat
it had
for
me
you.
And I was ready to, like, I was like, I don't need to, this is not what I signed up for.
Right.
I'll just go. And because
I was like, no, we want to stay. So, fast forward out of that, all the battle and the grind and you keep going. But something kept you there every time. Like, every time you would think, I'm done. This is too hard. This is too much. I can do this on my own. I hear that more than anything. I got this on my own. I can do this by myself. What made you keep staying? Like, what was it that you're like, you know what? I can do one more day.
Yeah, if you could put that into words, like to help the next man.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be weird. what made me stay was that how God put me at Able. You understand what I'm saying? Like the months leading up to that, he put me working with a guy named Jim Bob, painting. And this guy goes to church at First Assembly. He's married. He likes to do street ministry. It was me, him, his wife, and 2 other people. They never, I go to work sketched out. He never would, like, cast any shade on me or nothing like that. He just loved me, and he never made me feel like I was a dope head or whatever. He just loved me, And I told him one day on the job, he's painting a door casing. And I already know if I'd have never met Jim Bob or I never went to work for him, I wouldn't be clean today. Because I just know that. Like, and I told him, I said, man, the way that you live your life, you might not ever see it. You might not think it ever matters to anybody. I said, but the way that you've lived your life has pushed me to want to be a better person. Amen. And I'm crying telling him this on the job site. You know what I'm saying? He's like, well, man, just... And his son-in-law, but he had come through Able, and he was there at the time, and he was like, well, Clint Mike's out there at Able, but, really, if you want to get off that stuff, you can just do it yourself. I'm just like, just thinking, and, and then, and I think what was the question?
Just what kept you there?
Just knowing that, well, most of all, I would let myself down. Ultimately, that I knew I had to do this because I'd never really completed anything but other than high school in my entire life. I quit jobs. Yeah. My marriage had failed. This had failed. That my work had failed. Complete this, because if you don't, you already know what the enemy's setting you up for failure. Stay the grind. Stay the course. The Lord kept telling me that diamonds are made in the dark and under pressure.
That's right.
The fire refines and it burns away when it's hot and uncomfortable. The Lord's teaching me something, man. If I'll just sit still and be like, my desires got me sticking a needle in my arm in a trap house weighing 108 pounds. My kid not talking to me, divorced from my family, tough love. We don't want nothing to do with you if you're this person. Why would I have left if I didn't want to? If I really wanted to be clean, I stayed. If I didn't want to be clean, you'll leave. That's what they leave for. You signed up for a year. You knew it was a year. I don't care if you think you're ready or not. Grown men say, hey, this is what I signed up for. I'm staying this course.
That's right. And that's the key right there.
And nobody would let me quit.
Right, you made a commitment.
Everybody I talked to,
we didn't.
They could not. They
would
not agree with nothing that I was trying to tell them.
As many times you said it or thought it, you still stuck with it.
That's right.
You still wrote it out.
I thought I could weasel Mom into saying yes.
Right.
And Mom would always say, bro, just give me the Friday. You going to leave me here by myself? Give me the Friday. If it ain't better by Friday, you can go home on the weekend and then come back.
I was talking about it. Let me say this. I was talking about it with some of the guys on the way back this morning. And there's some of the new guys. And that's what I was telling them. I said, I'm going to be honest, the guys who have been the most successful that I've seen in this program are the guys that find somebody in this program and they do it together. Mm-hmm. They have that community, they have that family. And the guys are like, man, that's the first thing we've seen at Able is that it really feels like a family, like you get connected. You keep talking about Mom, people don't know. Mom, also, y'all graduated together. You came in, basically, you stayed in this course. You're still both doing really well. But you got to have that. You got to have that person. And I'm glad you said it because I want people to hear, whether you're at Able or not, that doesn't matter. If you're going through this, it's going to be hard. Like, it's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. And you're going to want to quit. There's going to be plenty of times. But the idea of making up your mind going, I'm not quitting this.
I took vacations from drugs my whole entire half of my life, or more than half of my life. But to really get off of drugs, it's easier. It was easier for me to get off of drugs and stay off of drugs than to live that lifestyle. Like, to live that lifestyle of not just being, you don't know what tomorrow holds.
You told me you were taking a bath in a restroom. I mean, you're just,
oh man,
Matt,
he had a bando over there in Oakland Park off of South Lumpkin Road. I mean, I didn't stay for years. I just lived wherever. I mean, I was homeless for. I've looked back on my thing, probably 6 or 7 years.
Wow.
When I first got a divorce, I got an apartment, and I had the apartment. The first 6 months, I couldn't pay it. When the lease was up, they booted me out. And then from there, I stayed at wherever. My clothes were in my truck. Had a dog with me everywhere I went. Had a bicycle, rode a bicycle. Didn't have a tag on my truck. That's why I had a bicycle, so I could park my truck somewhere, and then I'd ride my bike. Eating out of trash can. I can remember going to Piggly Wiggly on South Lumpkin Road at nighttime when they would throw their stuff out, their old chicken and stuff, and we would go up there and we would get it and we would take it back and grill it and stuff like that. Just to an animal instinct, just living like just whatever, man, and just as long as I had dope and was shooting dope, then I was content. But you know, after a while, that'll lie to you and it don't make you content anymore. You know what I'm saying? It leaves you feeling what the devil does. It sets you up and tells you, hey, makes you feel the best thing in the world. And then when you try to, you understand what I'm saying?
And the truth is, so what you just said, what I think is really profound, what I'm hearing, is, you know, the drugs are not the problem. You think the drugs are a solution to the problem. So my life sucks. I don't like it. I'm just going to try to do something and just not think about it. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, it just keeps you trapped in that. So now you step out of this. You're finally in some freedom. Things are starting to go well. You got relationships back. Your son, your mom, all these things are going well. You're working well. But you just said something before we started filming that I want the people to hear. You said, man, the hard part right now is not saying no to drugs. I'm past that. It's living without it. Like you've lived so long
and having to feel those emotions and feelings when it does get hard, when it does get difficult. Now you can't resort to that when you have a bad day.
Right.
And so let me say this. So it's 17% now, right? I think you told me that recently. 17% of the guys that start Able will actually make it through the program. And out of that 17%, after 18 months, so 6 more months after the year program, 50% stay clean or live restored life.
Right. We're at 60% for another year after the program. I mean,
okay.
So 17 out of 100 will graduate after a year. Of those 17, about 60% of them, about 8 of them or 9 of them actually will stay clean for another year. That's the number we're at right now.
So with that statistic, you know, what has worked for you? So you graduated Able in January. We're in April now. You're still doing well. I mean, not saying it's going to be easy, because just like the program's not easy, life's not easy sometimes too. So what is sustained? What has helped? What have you resorted to?
Not to go back?
Yeah.
For one, my mind's made up, but
amen.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I just know that's not the answer today. Like, no matter how bad my day is, I know where that leaves me today. You understand what I'm saying? And I just know that, because when I relapsed after 10 years, I thought that's a couple times was going to be, I was going to do it a couple times, and it was going to be like this recreational thing. I know today that I can't do meth recreational. Nobody can really. You know what I'm saying? That's like, you don't think about that. So, more than anything, like I told my girlfriend, I was like, you know, I have to go. Maybe not every Friday, but I have to go to Friday night home church, and I have to stay around helping people. As long as I'm testifying and telling of the goodness in my life, that'll keep me wanting the goodness of God in my life. You understand what I'm saying? And pouring on people. Yeah. So you have to pour yourself out in order to be filled back up. Yeah. Yeah. And if you don't, for me, that's where you stray off, and you feel like you're a self-made person, and like, I got this. I ain't got nothing.
So you're staying with
I'm
purpose.
weak as water when it comes. Honestly,
right.
I'm weak as water against that stuff.
Everybody.
I don't care how big you how many days you think you got away from it, and your position in your job or wherever you're at, if you struggle with drugs, you're just as vulnerable as the day you picked them up. Honestly,
Right.
Because
I read somewhere.
not once and always an addict, but our mind, an addict's mind, is like that's where
It's that
that's
addictive
where
personality.
you have to.
That's right.
That's it.
It's addictive personality.
Yes.
Because I actually read somewhere the other day.
That'll
it said,
trick you.
Whether you've never done drugs or alcohol at all. So it's easy to look at somebody and go, well, you know what, bud? You chose that. But I read somewhere that every one of us is 5 to 10 decisions, no matter who you are, 5 to 10 decisions away from ever falling into that life. So no matter who you are, no matter how great you think, well, I would never do that. I mean, you're 5, maybe 10 decisions away from making a choice that ends up leading you to where you're in addiction. So I don't ever look at it lightly. We don't say you're addicts. We say you have an addictive mindset. We understand that because you've been set free from it. But yes, it is a battle that's going to happen the rest of your life. But what I'm hearing from you is you're saying you're staying in the community. You still have some guys you talk with. That's a huge thing, right? That's the aftercare. And then you're staying in connection with God. Like, it has to be a daily thing. Like, you can't walk away from the Word. You can't walk away from prayer and worship. These are things you have to do daily that's going to keep you. If not, that's any of us. It feels like we've pushed away, and all of a sudden you're going, God, where are you?
You know, I was thinking about Solomon, who wrote Ecclesiastes in the Old Testament. You know, Solomon talks about the struggles of life and trying to, you know, find satisfaction and contentment and fulfillment and pleasure or alcohol or women or
Right.
success or palaces and all this stuff. And he never could find it. He said, man, it's all meaningless. It's all meaningless. And, you know, while society has changed, nothing has really changed from the human perspective. You know, we're all searching for that purpose. We're all searching for that identity. We're all searching for that fulfillment. And, you know, Solomon said, away from God, there is no fulfillment. There is no purpose. There is no satisfaction. And we haven't learned too much because in our generation, we're still resorting to those things. And we keep coming back to, what have you found to help you be successful and to make it? The secret place, spending time
Right.
with the Lord, community. Man, it's all spelled out in the scriptures. It's all spelled
Right.
out right there. And you're just evidence of what the scriptures tell us
Right.
of how to do this thing, how to make it through life,
Yeah.
you know, with peace and with joy and satisfaction. No, it's only found in God and
Right.
in others, you know.
And that peace is what you're talking about. Peace doesn't mean you never have storms.
Yeah.
It just means during the storm, you're going to be able to sustain because you're holding on to the anchor.
Yeah.
And so we're proud of you. And I mean, I know it's still tough. There's days, I mean, it's just going to be that way. It's going to be some hard days. There's going to be some days where the enemy is going to try to fight. I tell guys, it always seems to me that he throws a haymaker out of nowhere. Like, it's not constant. Sometimes I'll be fine. And all of a sudden, boom, I'm hit with past or I'm hit with thoughts. And I'm like, man, you know, that came out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. And so when that happens, you keep talking about making up your mind. And that is biblical. You have to make up your mind. You have to change your mind. It's when you finally say, I'm done. And if you're looking and you're like, man, I don't know how to get started. The first step is, are you ready to say, I'm done? Like, I don't want to be this way. If that's where you are, you're in a good spot. Mm-hmm. Now we just got to take those steps to continue to go and start grinding.
That's where I was at with it. I mean, I was to the point where, like I said, I was staying over there in LP in Phoenix City off of Seal Road in this little bedroom. My truck had been impounded. I just got out of jail. I went back to jail, and I was basically it was a trap house, basically where I was staying, and just trying to kill myself with meth, and realized that I couldn't. And then I heard somebody mention the name. Somebody said something about the name Nolan. I was like, oh, you know, he's kin to Chris. And he's like, I don't know if he is or not. So I got on my phone and on Facebook and tried to find Chris, and I couldn't find him. So I found his wife, and I messaged her, and she's like, oh, hey, how you doing? And I was just like, I'm not normally this type of person. I was like, hey, I'm a mess. You know, I used to sub work from them years ago when I was married and everything. I said, I'm just a mess. I'm a wreck, you know. And she's like, so I gave her my phone number. They called me, and Chris talked to me, and Chris was like, hey, man, Clint, why don't you just man, I've been looking for you. They said that we couldn't find you. I tried to take you to Florida with me to do some work. Man, how you doing? I was like, bro, I ain't doing good at all. I'm shooting dope, and I'm living over here in LP. And he was like, man, why don't you just go out there to Abel, Clint? Josh will get you back on your feet. The Lord will get, basically, he was saying Josh, but you know what I'm saying, with my work and things like that, and you'll start feeling good about yourself. So my buddy comes by later on that afternoon. I go off with him, and he drops me off, and he says, look, man, I normally don't get in your business, but and Jim Bob had already said something about going to Abel. And then Chris and Sylvia said something about going to Abel. So my best friend I grew up with is finna drop me off, and he's like, man, you don't get in your business. He said, man, but you look bad, Clint, you know. It might not be a bad idea you going out there to that Abel place. So the next morning, when I got up, I was trying to go to work, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to go to work because I couldn't function without any dope. I called Chris, and I was like, hey, man, you think you can take me to this job? And he was like, yeah. So he comes over there to get me, and I come bebopping out there with looking crazy, all gray, and I weighed, like I said, I weighed about 110 pounds. And I get in the truck, and he's like, where we got to go? I was like, well, the job's over off of Williams Road, but I got to go over here to Oakland Park. And he was like, what you got to go over there for? And I couldn't lie to him and tell him I had to get some tools or nothing. I was like, bro, I'm a functioning addict. If I don't have any dope, I'm not going to be able to go and do this job. He's like, well, I can't take you over there. Well, we're driving, right? And I don't know where we was going at the time. But I know that we're on Woodland Drive, so I guess we're going back out towards his house and already going towards Abel. And I don't even realize that this is because they're having to look at some property that they own because they were getting I guess they were getting ready to do what they've done with all their property now, like turn it over, not turn it over to Abel, but and I said, well, look, man, I said, I can't go to that job. He said, well, what you want to do then? I was like, and I can't go back where I come from. I said, I can't. He's like, what you want me to do? I said, well, man, I guess I'll go to Abel. And Sylvia's like, what? She's all excited. And so we stop at that Busy Bee right there on Woodland Drive. I go in there and get me a pack of cigarettes. I come back out. I'm standing outside smoking one before I get in the truck. She's like, get in the truck. Come on. I get in the truck. She's like, they got you a bed? Before I went to the store, she was like, let me call, make sure they got you a bed, because there's a waiting list. Right. I get back in the truck, so we're driving, and we're heading towards the racetrack, like back towards Seal, and I was like, no, I can't go today. And I was like, why not? I said, well, my dog, and this, and that. Chris is like, look, dude, I got your dog, they got clothes, we'll go get, and I'm like, no, I just can't do it today. And Silver's like, you're going today, or you're not going at all. Amen. So here I am. You know what I'm saying? Like work clothes on. Yeah. Just like that morning, Jeff. I put on Facebook. Didn't even. I said, man, I'm going to rehab. It was not like consciously not even knowing what I was actually setting. Right. Like it was so spiritual. And then I get here, man, and it's like I was like. When I realized that I was going to get 3 meals, I was like, I sit in that sunroom, and I was like, man.
For days, right?
I'm going to be able to take a shower when I want to. I'm going to be able to eat when I want to. And I'm not going to have to worry about anybody stealing my stuff or any. It was like a relief, man. It was like, this is a gift, bro. I don't even deserve this, but the Lord sees something in me. Obviously, I don't see it myself. And obviously, I do deserve this, but I don't. Like. The grace and mercy that he has on our life, like
that's right.
I didn't. The way I lived, man, I wasn't a thief, but I would steal from you. You understand what I'm saying? Like that's not my MO. But if I wanted it and I needed it, I didn't have the money, and it was going to get me something. When I guess I was a thief, but it wasn't. I don't know, man. It's hard to explain, but like
you did a good job. We're going to wrap it up. But
okay.
I just want to say, like. I always want to say that whoever's watching, if you stumbled across this, it's not by accident. And if you're in that spot and you're like, man, I don't feel like I have any way out, or I don't feel like I'm worthy of anything, you are. There's going to be an opportunity somehow on this video or whatever. Hit us up at Able Ministries if you're near us. We'll come get you. Like we'll drive to come get you if you want help, or we'll help you get to another program. make up your mind you don't want to do this anymore, and let's take a step of faith. Clint's not the same guy he was, and I'm so proud of you for that. And we got your back. We're still with you. You're not done. You're family. You're part of us. We're going to be with you from here on out, man. You can get rid of us. And so I thank you for your story. Your story you hear that. Also, if you're in somebody's life that's struggling with addiction, you have a huge part. You're hearing that. Like
all the people that orchestrated.
Yeah. Help them. Love them. And we're so thankful for that. But Clint, thank you for coming today and just being a part of this. And we just want to say God bless you. And if you need us, let us know.
Yeah. God bless you guys. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching the Unlock'd Podcast with Kev&Kev in the morning.
Yeah. The Unlock'd Podcast with Kev&Kev in the morning. Come on now, we gon' take you on.